All right, let's just jump right into the nitty gritty. I've been on YouTube for a long time now. I have a couple channels that have gone through some changes. Some channels are still sporadic, yada, yada, yada. But as a viewer, I've been on YouTube for a long time. And one of the recurring things I see, and I guess this has to do with content creation for creators that are in the YouTube space, is there's numerous, you know, dozens upon dozens of videos on these tips and tricks on the with these creators and what they're trying to help other creators. Like if you're not getting follows, or if you're not getting views, if you're not getting likes, everybody has their different tips and tricks on how to do that, and analytics and yada yada yada. If you go back and watch my very first video on this channel, it's titled "Why Am I Here?" I say it clear as day, plain as day, that I'm not concerned about analytics. I'm not about editing and cleaning up the videos that I put on my channel. This is raw, uncut footage because I don't have the patience to be running these videos through CapCut or any other type of video editing software to, clean it up, add captions, add little subtle moves within, for me, it's CapCut because I'm more familiar with using CapCut. Maybe haven't mastered CapCut yet, but I'm more familiar with it, with the transitions and adding text, adding music, with the captions, so on and so forth. But it just seems like every content creator on YouTube is concerned about this. And I get it if you are using YouTube as a source of income. I totally get it. You want to have a presentable video, and whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with your channel, you want it to look good, and you're spending the extra time in putting titles in your thumbnails and making sure the captions are right, making sure all the words within the captions are spelled correctly. I've been there. I've done that. Not for YouTube's sake, but I've done videos like that where I've had captions and I have to go through there because I'm what they call, what's the word I'm looking, a grammar Nazi, you know? And it just cringes me to my core that even when I'm reading the captions on my own videos, I got to make sure it's spelled right. And one thing about CapCut, right now, I don't have a paid subscription, so I'm using the free version, which is limited. There's a lot of stuff that is behind paywalls that I just really don't want to get back on the subscription plan that I once had, for about 6 months, maybe a little bit longer than that. I really don't want to do that at this time because I'm not doing a lot of video editing on CapCut. Not like I was before, where it made sense for me to have a subscription plan to unlock a lot of those features. But what you're going to get here is you're going to get, what you see is what you get. I have no intention of ever editing my videos. If I stumble over my words, I'm not going to take the time to run it through CapCut and cut that part of the video out and the audio to make it sound clean. So if I stumble over my words, if I pause for about 10 seconds because I'm thinking, I'm in my train of thought, then that's what it is. That's what you're going to get on this channel. You're going to get the raw, uncut footage, unedited, unscripted, and just pretty much keeping it real. I'm not really concerned with analytics. I am not concerned about going viral. I'm not concerned about views. If you watch my very first video titled "Why Am I Here?", I talk about that over there. And I said clear as day in that video that this channel is going to become whatever it becomes. If it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm okay either way. If I had the intention of I want to use YouTube in every post I put on YouTube, every video that I make for YouTube purposes, if I wanted to make this source of income, okay, then I would spend a little more time making sure that my content is doctored up, that it's presentable. But since I really don't care about that. I'm not really concerned about analytics and, driving myself mad mentally because I'm always on YouTube analytics, seeing how my videos are doing. I'm not worried about all that. I want to keep this as raw and uncut, unscripted, and pure as possible, because maybe somebody out there will like this type of content where I'm stumbling over my words, where I might have long pauses because I'm thinking, about what to say next. I'm not reading a teleprompter. I'm not, reading cue cards. Every time I get on one of these videos, whatever it is I'm talking about, I try to be more fluent in what I'm saying. And some of you would probably think I am reading a teleprompter. I don't have that type of gear. I don't have a light ring. The light that you're seeing in this video comes from the light that lights up this room. I don't have a green screen behind me. If you notice the consistency of all my videos, it has the same backdrop. That's the wall of my room. And I don't have all types of fancy equipment. And this is just to let everybody else out there know. And this is what some content creators will tell you. Just start with what you have. I've heard this, from other creators here on YouTube. Many channels here on YouTube where they talk about that. Don't wait till you have the fancy equipment and the expensive gear to get started. I'm using my Galaxy phone to make these videos. They're not the best quality, but I'm putting content out there. I'm trying to be consistent, and put at least one video a day. It's not always going to be that way because I got other things going on in my life where I can't dedicate, all my time to, making these videos and putting them up on YouTube, because that takes time. Once I'm done with this video, I got to hook it up to my computer and transfer it through the USB cable. And that takes time depending on how long these videos get. And since I'm not really familiar with YouTube Studio like that, and all the features that come with using YouTube Studio, I'll learn it. I'm just doing the basics right here when it comes to uploading these videos and just giving it to you as is. Just like I'm speaking to you in this video right now. There's no editing going on. You're not going to see any captions. All this empty space right here, you're not going to see any pop-ups happen right here. You're just not. That's just my backdrop. I figure, hey, let me do something different, where, I'm off center, and that's done intentionally. Sometimes my videos, I'll be in the center of the screen, but I think this is the way to get people's attention, is to be off center. You're seeing this, this is my curtain right here. This blue thing you're seeing, you know what that is right there. That's outlets right there. So I'm keeping it, as real as I can be, where other creators are, pulling their hair out because they're thinking, well, I need to have a green screen. I need to have this. I need to have this equipment. I need to have that equipment. Not really. Not really. As your channel grows, if your intention is to monetize your channel, as your channel grows and people start, discovering your channel and subscribing, and, the views start, racking up where you're starting to monetize, then you can start investing into that equipment. You can start investing into growing your channel and whatever equipment it is you need, whether that's green screens, whether that's light rings, whether that's better camera equipment. I have a tripod that I'm using to make this video so I don't have to hold the camera in my hand, and do the Blair Witch thing, so that's, I use with what I have right now. I have a tripod and I have a Galaxy phone. That's it. And should this channel take off, should it start, blowing up and I start getting subscribers, like, one day I wake up and I go from having whatever, I don't know how many subscribers I have on this channel right now. I think I have about, 12 to 15 people subscribing. I might wake up one day and that 15 subscribers jumps to 100. That 100 might jump to 500. It all takes time. And a lot of these content creators here on YouTube will tell you that, that you're not going to, wake up, it's not going to happen overnight where you're going to go from 0 subscribers to 1,000. And I'm talking about those of you who want to grow your channel organically. because I'm well aware of the services out there where I can pay a certain amount of money to have, subscribers or followers if I'm using another platform to do my content. And I've always made a commitment to myself that I will not do that. No matter where I'm putting content, I will not ever, pay money to grow this channel or grow any of my accounts on other social platforms. So if I stay stuck at 15 subscribers for the next 6 months to a year, 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't matter, because that's not my intention of, having these videos up on my channel, and I just wanted to address this because I need people to understand that if you think that down the road, as my channel grows and there's more videos, as my video content grows here on my channel, that you think there's going to be improvements made, maybe. But for the most part, I just plan to keep it raw, the raw unedited footage that you're going to see on my channel, because I just don't have the patience to be running, like I said, running these videos through video editing software, because that's time consuming. That's very, very time consuming. And I feel that I can, push out more content if I'm not adding that element to my life and to the content I'm putting out there. Because if I have to add that element to my life, to these videos, that takes more time, and that takes time away from me posting on a daily basis. If I skip a day here or there, it doesn't matter. I'm not a part of an agency. I don't have the pressure from anybody to be making these videos on a daily basis, yet alone post them. It's all up to me. This video is going to go up. I'm going to schedule it to be posted, for tomorrow, because the video that got posted today is already on my channel. And I'm saying all this to say that on this channel, don't expect me to post one video a day. As other areas of my life get busy and they become more of a priority, this is going to be more of a secondary thing to me, where I'm going to get on my camera and I'm going to talk about whatever it is I'm going to talk about, whatever I feel led to talk about. But the whole premise of this entire channel is to tell my story, is to let you guys know about things that have happened in my life. I haven't lived a long life. I'm only 49 years old. But if any part of my story that I choose to tell on this channel, if it's going to help somebody else in their life, if it's going to inspire you and encourage you to better your life or to keep going, for those of you who feel like giving up, maybe something I say in my video will catch your attention. It'll give you that extra boost of energy to keep going when you wanted to give up. And if that's what this channel does for you, then that means the world to me, that my story can help somebody else out there. It can inspire them, maybe to tell their story. Maybe they've been wanting to tell their story and they just don't know where to start. And I would just say to you, if you're watching this, just start whatever comes to your mind first. You don't have to start from the beginning. Oh, when I was 3 years old, my earliest childhood memory. You don't have to start there. If I don't have a lot of videos on this channel yet, but the few videos I have on there, I've told a different part of my life, things that happened in my life at different times in my life, so that people can. Sorry about that. There was some type of glitch on my phone, so I'm picking up where I left off. So as I was saying, people that I don't even remember what I was talking about before my camera shut off. I don't know why. I have plenty of memory on my phone, but I don't want to drag that out. I just want to say that in closing that, if my videos encourage you and inspire you to tell your story, then that's great. Just start with the first thing that comes to your mind. You don't have to be like going through, you don't have to feel like you have to present your story in a chronological, way, because that's not how our mind works. The stories that I've told you here so far in the small amount of videos that I've posted, these are stories and experiences in my life that have happened at different times in my life. I didn't start from the beginning of my life. Oh, when I was a little kid, my earliest childhood memory. If that ever comes to my mind and it's something I feel led to talk about, I'll go there. But in the meantime, the stories I'm sharing, it's just like, I just told you guys a story recently about why I don't go to church. My experience, with, I had that experience I had with Victory Outreach. You can watch that video. I don't know what the title of it is, but it's there. And I just want to say in closing that you don't have to have all the fancy equipment and you don't have to have it all figured out. Just get started. Any content creator here on YouTube will tell you that. Just get started. Don't wait until you have all the fancy equipment, because if you're waiting for that time to happen, it may never happen. Just get started. Use what you have use what you have, what's available to you right now. And then as, time goes on and you're consistent with your content, eventually it's going to grow. It may not happen when you want it to happen. And this is why I really don't get, concerned about analytics. I'm not checking analytics on my channel. That's one thing. That's just me. That's where I'm. Ladies and gentlemen, I really don't know what's going on. This is the second time this app is closed. I have no idea, but like I was saying, my channel is going to be different from, a lot of the other channels out there that are giving you different type of content for different reasons. What sets my channel apart, and I'm not doing this, I'm just doing this because this is what I feel comfortable doing. It's not because I'm trying to compete with any other content creator out there on YouTube. I just feel like I don't have the energy to be editing my own videos, because that's going to take away from the time I could be using to share my story with you. And it's going to mean if I have to do all that, if I have to, make these videos, this is really, really annoying. Now I have to edit this because this is the third or fourth time my app is closed. I have no idea why this is happening. But anyway, like I was saying, the reason I'm making my videos the way I'm making them is because I just don't have the energy to be doing all that extra work. And I don't have the funds to outsource that stuff. And even with AI, I still have to invest in that technology for AI to do it. And I'm a very particular person when it comes to editing and to being and doing creative stuff in the video space. I'm very, very particular, and AI is really frustrating to me because if it's not prompted correctly, I get results that I'm not satisfied with. So this is why I would rather just give you the raw, uncut, unedited footage. And in this case, with this situation, I'm going to have to splice these video together, to make it a whole video. And I have no intention of editing it. And I want to go ahead and wrap it up because I don't know how many more times this app is going to close on me. There's something going on with my phone and I don't know what it is. So, to end it, I just want to say, start with what you have. Don't worry about if you're going to tell your story. You don't have to be chronologic about it. Jiminy Crickets, I tell you, I don't know what the hell is wrong with my phone. But as I was saying, just start with what you have. You don't have to wait till you have all the fancy equipment in the world to start, making your content and posting it. And like I said, just tell your story from whatever the first thing that comes to your mind. And just get started. That would be my best advice to you. And this is advice that you'll hear across YouTube for all content creators, from all content creators. Just don't stress yourself out thinking that you have to have thousands of dollars worth of equipment and you have to have the perfect idea. No, just start from where you're at right now and hit the ground running. And the more content you make, the better you'll get. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. I'm going to go ahead and sign off before this app closes on me again. Until the next one,